Ahoy, me mateys! Welcome aboard the RSS Commentary! Hit like and subscribe! Oh, I know I'm such an asshole. Alright. Today's top RSS News Headlines from Fox News. Milwaukee man bludgeoned 12-year-old grandson to death with hammer, police say. White House corrects Biden claim of, quote, 90%, end quote, of Americans out of Afghanistan. The number turned out to be 98%. Biden only forgot 2% of the Americans. Only. See, but you got to look at it as a glass is half full. You know, you only got 100 and some odd people killed. That was from the Washington Post. From Hacker News, Google's new AI photo upscaling tech is jaw-dropping. That is pretty impressive, I'm gonna have to say. From Breitbart News, FAIR, Biden's chaotic Afghan immigration imports fraud. The government program that imports people from chaotic countries such as Iraq and Afghanistan are riddled with fraud and a national security risk, according to the report by the ... Oh, again, forgot it. Damn it. RSS Commentary is an indie news organization. If you want to find links to any of these articles presented, you can find us on the web at rsscommentary.com/Cale McCollough 138 for this show, where you can find links to the videos as well as an enumerated list of all the links to the articles that are being presented. From Breitbart News, man urinates on Dairy Queen counter in protest of mask policy. This man is my hero. From Fox News, Tucker Carlson, our leaders won't apologize for Afghanistan. Biden doubled down. Tucker Carlson criticized those who prompted a troop presence in Afghanistan. Promoted a troop presence in Afghanistan and slammed President Joe Magoo Biden for claiming the troop withdrawal was a success. At first, Biden said that he was taking full responsibility for all the people who lost their lives. And then he followed that immediately by saying this is all Trump's fault because he's a snake. He's a snake politician. We've been trying to warn people, but people, it's like that story about the clown, that he's in a clown suit and he's performing, and then there's a fire in the studio, in this theater, and he goes out on stage and he's trying to warn everybody, there's a fire, and like he moves and he's like got some honky thing, and he's like got clown stuff falling out of his pockets, and the theater is actually on fire, but everybody thinks he's just acting. And he keeps getting more and more worked up, like, no, this is actually a fire. He takes off his clown nose, takes off the wings, and oh, there's a fire. And then everybody, the crowd keeps laughing, and they keep getting laughing louder and louder, and everybody dies in the fire. That's kind of like what's going on. From Breitbart News, Texas legislator passes election integrity legislation. The Republican-controlled sane Texas State House and Senate on Tuesday passed the final versions of the controversial voter integrity legislation, which the Democrats tried to oppose for ... They say voter ID is racist. It's totally okay to ask somebody for a vaccine passport. They go from calling everyone Nazis to show me your papers, please. From Breitbart, Kanye West, quote, Donda, end quote, album breaks Spotify, Apple Music records, hits #1 in 152 countries. Rap megastar and fashion mogul Kanye West, the Trump supporter, his Donda album, which was released on Sunday, has already broken records on both Spotify and Apple Music and has reached ... Fox News. From Fox News, Oklahoma congressman allegedly threatened embassy staff while trying to enter Afghanistan, according to a report. Oklahoma Representative Mark Wayne Mullen allegedly threatened embassy staffers in Tajikistan when needing assistance in transporting a huge amount of cash into the country in his attempt ... From Hacker News Best, the art of not taking things personally. This is from dave-bailey.com. From NPR, a new report says the COVID recession has pushed Social Security insolvency up a year. The new projections for the annual Social Security and Medicare trustees reports indicate that the program will be unable to pay for benefits in 2034. Last year's estimated exhaustion ... I don't care because I'm not going to get anything out of Social Security, so I just don't pay into it. So, I mean, it really, if you're paid into it, I mean, that sucks for you, but me personally, I'm not invested, so whenever everybody else is broke, I'm just going to come up. I'm going to buy up everybody else's, foreclosed, bankrupt assets for pennies on the dollar, and then I'm going to come up and do the swoop. From the New York Post, 5 missing Navy chopper crashes off California coast. Did I say that right? 5 missing after Navy chopper crashes off California coast. Search and rescue operations are ongoing as Navy helicopter with an unknown amount of passengers on board crashed into the Pacific Ocean. From Newsweek, Kevin McCarthy, Marjorie Taylor Greene threaten telecoms not to give data to January 6th committee. Quote, Americans never meant to be a communist country, end quote. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican from Georgia, said. But, quote, these are the tactics that Democrats are wanting to use, end quote. I definitely agree. Last time I went to a public place, I live in Oregon, where the wingnut, idiot, incompetent mayor, Kate Brown, she issued an outdoor mask mandate, and they're forcing all the college students to get vaccines because it starts first with this, and then it starts with this, and then it starts with, and then it goes to this, and to this, and to this, and to this. And that's how you end up in the gulag. Bro, you think it can't happen in America? You're crazy. The cartels just brought in enough fentanyl to kill everybody in America, smuggled across the border using all of these child migrants to divert the Customs Borders Patrol, and they're selling thousands of these migrant children as sex slaves. They're human trafficking millions of people across the border, and they reports are that a third of the women are being raped. Migrants are getting mass murdered across the border. They can go across the border without a mask, without social distancing, and everybody else has to live by these rules. And the people who are coming across the border are cartels. They're soldiers, so the people property that they're trespassing on, the government, the Joe Magoo Biden and President Kamala Harris administration, they are forcing the people to quarter soldiers on their property, people who are committing crimes, killing people, extorting people, raping women, and they're not allowed to stop them because Joe Magoo Biden made this a sanctuary nation so that President Kamala Harris can get all that corruption money from San Francisco. So you got to wear the mask because it's the indoctrination into communism. So next time you're out and about, you should do what I did last time I was at a public place. And when the security guard came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna have to ask you to wear a mask," and then I didn't do anything. And he came back. He's like, "Dude, I gotta ask you to wear a mask." I said, "I am not a member of the Communist Party, sir." Or no, I said, "Sorry, I'm not a communist." He said, "No, I'm gonna have to ask you to wear a mask." I said, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not actually a member of the Communist Party." He said, "Then I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." I said, "Okay." Well, I heard if I put on the communist flag over my face, the communists leave me alone. So I put on the mask and they do let me alone. It works. And then whenever I left out, I let them a piece of my mind, flipped them off, told them off, said, "F you, shove your mask up your ass, you communist fuck." And well, that was just the end of it. I don't know if I'm banned, but it felt good when I left. So fuck it. From Breitbart News, watch, Boebert calls to impeach Joe Magoo Biden and President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Blinken, quote, "if you can get him back from vacation," end quote, "and out of the basement." Here, let me do something real quick. Sorry, I'm supposed to have my wait. Sorry about that. Moving on. From Fox News, Taliban supporters hold mock funerals with coffins draped with American flags. And from the New York Post, Lindsey Graham claims White House is lying about Americans left in Afghanistan. Senator Lindsey Graham charged Tuesday that the Joe Magoo Biden administration was not wearing the pants in the White House, was not being truthful about several aspects of the evacuation of Afghanistan, where it definitely appears as though Joe Magoo Biden has sabotaged the United States in a military operation, potentially committing treason against the United States. I don't know. Maybe we should lock him up. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Anybody think that we should lock him up? We would love to hear your comments. I personally would love to see him locked up. I think he's definitely lost his faculties, and he's not competent enough to be the President of the United States of America. From the New York Post, GOP lawmaker tries rogue rescue mission to Afghanistan. According to a report, a Republican congressman attempted to organize a rescue mission to Afghanistan to extract American citizens left behind by the Joe Magoo Biden and President Kamala Harris administration. ... and threatened U.S. ... That dude's a patriot. You're the man. If you want to see who that dude was, you should go check out rsscommentary.com/Cale McCollough 138. Also, don't forget to, there's a subscribe button down below. You can click on that one. You can also click on the thumbs up or thumbs down button. I'm not going to tell you which way to vote. I'm just going to tell you should probably vote. There's a share button you can share this video with, and there's also a comment section down below. If you want to drop a comment down below, you could tell me how much I suck, how stupid I am, or how good looking I am, and how I'm ripping them a new one. From Fox News, Greg Gutfeld, it's impossible for things to go wrong this perfectly. The White House and media will redefine your outrage against the Joe Magoo Biden and President Kamala Harris administration as directed against the military. If you're mad about the disastrous pullout, well, the rest of America is mad about Kamala Harris's father not pulling out either. And Joe Biden, same for his father. Joe Magoo Biden pretends you're mad that we're ... I don't know exactly how he could have been messed it up that bad without purposely doing it for some nefarious reason. Okay, you're supposed to never assign malice to what you can assign to stupidity, and I definitely believe in that because a lot of times when I blame people, it wasn't the way that I thought it was. But the Democrats have been in power for hundreds of years. They know all of the levers of power there in the swamp in Washington, D.C. And they know what they're doing. When they act incompetent, it's because of demographics and corruption. They do everything based upon how they maintain power. How they maintain power is all based around demographics. So when you have a very powerful group of people and they're constantly doing incompetent things, you must assume that these people are extremely corrupt and they're bamboozling you and they're using incompetence as a method to cover up the corruption. That's what I personally believe is going on. I think we've got enough evidence to almost go out on a limb and say that. Moving on from the Telegraph, nearly a third of the world's trees are threatened with extinction. You heard that right, hippies. Get your ass out there in the woods and start planting me some trees. I personally think that we need to grow a whole bunch of trees and cover up our roads with wood and make land bridges for the animals, because this can allow us to trap the CO2, and then we can take the CO2 and we can convert it directly into trees, and then we can use those trees to grow, to suck up the CO2 out of the air. I think that that would be a really good thing to do. Probably wouldn't be a waste. As long as you're not transporting the trees long distance and you got like a machine that you could take trees from around an area and cut them up and then like make boards out of them and then make land bridges that go over the roads. And you don't have to go very far, so you don't have a lot of wasted energy. It would solve our CO2 problem. I'm not sure whether or not it's exactly a problem. I'm not convinced that the Gulf currents are going to shut down. The research says it's extremely unlikely. Asteroid impacts are also extremely unlikely, so I need to look at more data, because the sea levels definitely aren't rising, like they said, due to some physics of the ice sheets. When they move, they don't rise. But I think we do need to work on, it's like global warming is a pretty big distraction. It's like the Chinese can exploit it to trick us to offshoring our manufacturing process so we don't have the carbon in our country, and then they'll just sell us the products so they don't have the emissions regulations there, so they can get away with more there. So it's kind of a scam in that way. And then, but there's air pollution, and that's real. It causes asthma. It kills little kids. So that's definitely not fake. There's nothing fake about asthma in the air. So I just say we need to focus on cleaning up ocean pollution and air pollution and stop with this craziness about global warming, right? Reduce your consumption. I mean, that's the best we can do, right? We don't live in these countries where they're doing most of the polluting, so asking us to do something about it is, you're talking to the wrong person. From the Times of Israel, Israel extends Gaza fishing zone, lets in more workers despite border riots. Additional water and goods allowed into the strip after Palestinians hold violent demonstrations along with the security fence for 4 straight nights. Probably stoked by the coward Joe Magoo Biden tucking tail, turning on our people so he can get a photo op, and then sabotaging the Afghan withdrawal. I mean, we have hundreds of military bases around the world. Why can't we have one in Afghanistan, right? I personally think Joe Magoo Biden and President Kamala Harris are doing some shady stuff because they're really corrupt, because Kamala Harris is from San Francisco. San Francisco is the most corrupt place in the entire country. You can't find a place that's more corrupt in the United States than San Francisco. It's the epicenter of corruption in America, besides DC. Sorry, DC, of course, is more corrupt, but San Francisco controls DC. So, it is what it is. From Hacker News, show HN : compile for ARM at native speeds in an emulated system. From the Daily Mail, shop prices rise amid driver shortage and global supply chain crisis. Shop prices in Britain rose last month as the national shortage of lorry drivers and disruption to the global supply chain caused by COVID and post-Brexit migration rules start to hit ... From the Daily Mail, again, Virginia Tech disenrolls 134 patriots who failed to comply with its compulsory vaccine mandate, which is completely illegal. There's a reason why there's not vaccine mandates on the general public, and that's because that would be illegal to do that. The state needs to show clear and convincing evidence before they can deprive you of your fundamental federally protected rights. One of those is your right to be on public property for free speech. There's a reason why the university professors are given free speech rights in their job that are different than in the workplace, because their job is speaking. That's what they do. So they need to be able to speak freely to do their job. And the students also have right to free speech. So the students and the teachers have a right to speak freely amongst each other. Therefore, it has some special privileges that other state employees don't have, because so the other state employees are just there to serve a function. They're not there to implant thoughts in your mind like teachers are. I am now again a student at Portland State University's engineering school, and they have a vaccine mandate. So I sent them a very nasty letter saying that anyone who comes near me with a needle trying to inject me with something that I did not agree with, I'm going to kill that person. That this is illegal, because they need to show clear and convincing evidence that the lockdowns and the mask mandates have caused a significant drop in the birth rate that is causing 300,000 to 500,000 fewer Americans to be born in 2020 and 2021 both. So with that, we're talking between 600,000 and a million more babies, or fewer babies, born in 2020 and 2019, which is dramatically more than the number of COVID deaths. So it just goes to show you, we can do all this stuff with these masks to try to get votes for Democrats and to try to save old, obese, and immune-compromised people. But you're sacrificing 2 healthy babies for each one of these people with immune systems that was not able to battle COVID. People whose genes that if they reproduced, they did not die. If we artificially kept them alive and they reproduced, you're degrading the human genes, similar to how domestic house cats have genes that aren't so good. They might be really pretty, but they got bad teeth. They get sick a lot because their genes have degraded from lack of natural selection. Humans work the same way. So these vaccines can actually cause permanent, irreparable damage to the human immune system. Potentially could cause extinction if the virus was nasty enough, although I'm not sure that would happen. But it's definitely illegal, like the mask mandates. Also, too, contribute to the low birth rate. The bacteria on the masks, it builds up like in a reusable grocery bag, and it can kill you when you get COVID from the bacteria in your mouth getting into the ventilator tube. It's definitely one of those things that you have to worry about with COVID, and also too the flu. That bacteria on the mask is a real thing. Like, there's no real proof that they're using a mask and getting a vaccine is any more effective at combating COVID than exercising and breathing through your nose and out through your mouth, because that's going to make the droplets absorb into your nose, which is going to lower the chance of a lower respiratory infection, which can save your life from COVID. So it's like we're not doing it scientifically. Like, we need to do this stuff scientifically. You need to give people the option of whether or not they want to participate in this experiment. And if they don't, then they don't want to contribute to your medical experiment. A lot of people do, though. And we got to go about this in a scientific manner. We can't just willy-nilly and just go, we'll just make everybody wear masks. No, man, you got to set up control groups. You got to study it. You got to make sure that what you're doing when you're asking somebody to wear a medical device, you're not asking them to wear that medical device improperly, causing permanent and irreparable damage to that person and their family. Right? Am I right? I'm completely right. These people don't see this because Democrats are fundamentally nanny state, cult of state, fascist. They think that fascists are like on the right with the conservatives, but it's not actually true. Actually, they don't know anything about fascism. Fascism is like a perverted liberal ideology. It's not. They say it's. They want to say it's not liberalism. It's illiberal liberals, is what it is. They're like, it's perverted. They like the eugenics people. They were liberals who they wanted to make the world equal, so they forced sterilized the people with undesirable traits, like poor people, American Indians, black people, retarded people. They were definitely pretty nasty people, and they always do it in the name of equality. It's like a repeating story. It's like they've been against natural selection for hundreds of years. They don't like it. They want to be in control of who lives. That is the Democrats' ultimate dream and goal and ambition, is to determine whether or not you live or not. From Hacker News, the $150 million machine keeping Moore's Law alive. This is an amazing machine. It can make microprocessors that are 1/10 the size of our current microprocessors. It uses this amazing plasma technique where they take a ball of liquid tin, and then they hit it with a high-powered laser twice. They'll put it up, bounce it up in the air, get it hot. It'll go up in the air, and then they'll hit it with a really powerful pulse, and then they can do really small lithography, which is amazing. It's like really technical physics stuff, amazing stuff. I highly recommend you checking this out, and check out the photonic neural nets coming out. What is that company? Look up on YouTube how to keep Moore's Law going, photonic neural nets. And they're basically like AI accelerators, like a GPU powered by light, which is pretty amazing. And they're very fast, very power efficient, 100 times more power efficient per watt than a GPU, which is pretty amazing. And it's going to get way faster here in the future. From the Daily Mail, From the Daily Mail, at least 32 California students remain stranded in Afghanistan. One school district near Sacramento on Tuesday said 29 of their students remained in Afghanistan, while another school district near San Diego said 3 of theirs remain in ... Again from the Daily Mail, Britain, quote, told Afghans to go to airport gate hours before suicide attack, end quote. An Afghan interpreter saved because he was told by the UK authorities to head to the Abbey Gate, but decided it was, quote, madness to go there, end quote, giving warnings of an imminent ... From Fox News, protesters at Iowa fraternity demand it be abolished after sex assault allegations emerge. From the Daily Mail, man caught on camera lunging at an NBC reporter is wanted by police, may have violated parole. Police in Gulfport, Mississippi are seeking Ohio man Benjamin Eugene Bagley for an alleged assault caught on video in which he interrupted an NBC reporter on Hurricane Ida Monday. From the Daily Mail, the reason why Dan Andrews closed playgrounds, and it had nothing to do with kids spreading COVID. The truth finally comes out. The playgrounds were shut down to punish the parents, not because the kids were spreading COVID. Shame, 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 shame. These liberals, man. Oh my gosh. You see, they do that. And they always use these pressure tactics of, if you don't do this, somebody's going to get hurt. You need to give up your rights because you don't want to be responsible for this. And then they shame you. And it turns out they're the total POSs. Everybody's just like getting suckered by a bunch of really toxic people. I'm tired of them, man. We got to shut them down. You got to put the boot down up on the neck with that cancel culture. You got to make it so that they are the ones that are facing the chopping block, the cancellation, the you can't work in this town anymore. You got the boot, the blacklist. Your booty, you're gone. Sadly, though, the only way to get these messages out is if I repeat the message over and over and over again. There's no way you can just say the message once and then it's gone. And then if you say it enough, then everybody thinks you're crazy. Right. So that's the problem. I personally think we're screwed. I think we're screwed because the people who control the corporations are making too much money off you complying with the cult of state nonsense. Like they win when they're able to use these tactics because they've used these tactics all since throughout the history of humanity. Through every government out there, there's always been people who use these same tactics to manipulate people to do what they want, these power players. Next article from Newsweek. Navy helicopter crash update as one service member rescued off coast of San Diego. The helicopter embarked on the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is located 60 nautical miles away from the RSS Commentary. From San Diego, crashed while conducting routine flight operations. Glad that they were able to save one. That's a tragedy that happens. My heart goes out to the family members of all those service members. From the Daily Mail, Rikers Island inmate is charged with an attempted murder after leaving guard with fractured skull. New details have emerged about the violent attack of a Rikers Island correction officer whose skull was fractured by an inmate who was charged with attempted murder. From the Daily Mail, Texas school system closes until Labor Day after 2 school teachers from the same high school die of COVID. Conley Independent School District closed its 5 suburban Waco schools after Labor Day following a COVID-19 death of teacher Natalie Chancellor, 14, and David McCormick. So why did they... Okay, so, I mean, we got to be scientific with how we're going to root out the bad apples in the public school system. Survival of, there's no survival of the fittest here. So, because they're using the vaccines. So, these people were, 41, and then David McCormick was 59. So I have a solution. And I know this sounds completely obvious because it is. Why don't you just make the teachers who are over the age of 35 take the month off, instead of making all of the children not go to school and burdening the parents and causing people to be in their homes for longer periods of time where they're more likely to get COVID? Why don't you just get rid of all the old people? You know, it's like the kids, we can't just like screw up their entire life to try to save some fat and old people. It's just not right. People need to die before they reproduce in order for evolution to happen. So these vaccines are kind of perverted. Like, nobody even questions what damage it does to our genetic makeup, to our immune system genes, in order to eliminate natural selection. Like, that can be detrimental to the human immune system, right? So for these older people, you know, they can get some vaccines. I'm not sure whether or not these people had vaccines, but it should be up to the parents. The parents probably already had COVID, right? The kids probably already had COVID. It's just selfish to shut down society, to lower people's birth rate. Like, I'm 39 years old. I only have so many years left where I can impregnate a woman. And I'm trying to do that as soon as I can find a high-quality single woman. But this is difficult. So I've had a couple of years now taken off of my mating cycle because of COVID. This is reducing my birth count at my home, causing my children to not be born. So they're asking me, who's already had COVID multiple times, you're asking me to give up my children and my wife to save an old and a fat person. But they don't think about these things. All they think about is they want to control whether or not you live or die. You can't let God be in control of that. That would be violate the state's monopoly. You see, the state has to maintain their monopoly over your life in order for them to continue doing what they do. Because if you stop letting them control your life, you're never going to allow them to control your life again. So they have to do, it's like a constant contact marketing, you know, where you want to constantly be in contact with your customers. Because if you lose contact with your customers, then it's like having to reacquire these customers. And that can be very costly to you. From Hacker News, C# for systems programming. That actually sounds pretty interesting. I think you could do that with Python too, if I do recall. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head if that's available for Python. But systems programming with C# definitely need to be a good API for doing that. You can check that out over at rsscommentary.com/Cale McCollough 138, where you can find all of the links to the articles presented. From the Daily Mail, Taliban says Britons will be allowed to leave Afghanistan. Mr. Tugendhat served in Afghanistan, accused the Taliban of quote-unquote lying about Britons being allowed to safely exit Afghanistan, saying the group has been hunting people down and ... Wow, that Biden really blew that one. Maybe we should start calling him Blow It Biden instead of Joe Magoo Biden. We also like to call him the streaking White House groper because Joe Magoo Biden, he likes to walk around the White House naked, and occasionally he will grope women. It's quite frequently, actually. He's pissed off a lot of people from groping their girlfriends. Boy, you wish you would have known that before you voted for him, huh? Seriously, look it up. It's actually true. I'm not making stuff up. And if I do, you can report anything at... If I do have any factual errors, you can report it at rsscommentary.com/Cale McCollough 138. Report that down at the bottom of the page in the comment section. Also, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Hit the up or down button. There's a share button if you want to spread this message. This is the most effective way. And don't forget to drop a comment down below. If you got any good Yo Mama jokes, we would love to hear them down there. I lost my place. From the Daily Mail, elderly woman arrested by NSW police as anti-lockdown protesters chant, "Let her go." Cops are trying to arrest an elderly woman at one of NSW's 79 anti-lockdown rallies were heckled by protesters who surrounded and screamed at them. And cops hunt down man 43 after 2 people are shot dead and 2 more are injured in North Carolina. Adrian Trinell Horn 43 is wanted on 2 counts of first-degree murder after 2 people were shot dead in Wilson County, North Carolina. From Fox News, Texas school system closes after 2 teachers die of COVID-19. Sorry, we just covered this a second ago. That is a duplicate. From Fox News, San Diego protest outside of mayor's home sees gunfire incident. Suspect arrested. Authorities in San Diego have arrested a man suspected of opening fire as a crowd protested Monday evening outside of Mayor Todd Gloria's home in the city, according to reports. From Newsweek, grandfather beat 12-year-old to death after accusing him of stealing money, according to the police. Andres Martina, 53, faces multiple charges, including first-degree intentional homicide. Wow, that one's pretty sick. If there's any kids watching this show, don't be mouthing off to Grandpa. From the Daily Mail, video: Thai motorist loses control of his SUV and almost hits a pedestrian. The large SUV lost control while taking a sharp bend in Samut Sakhorn, Thailand on August 28th. The motorist narrowly avoided a woman pushing a cart before bringing their car to a halt. From NPR, satellite photos show Louisiana coast is still dealing with major flooding post-Ida. Days after Hurricane Ida hit Louisiana, local officials are still wading through floodwaters and heavy debris in continued efforts to help residents who stayed behind. Would definitely be sucked to be stuck in one of those hurricanes. I definitely might have problems getting out of the way of a natural disaster myself. So my heart goes out to all those people. Don't forget to keep these people in your prayers, in your thoughts, in your meditations. If there's any way that you can help, just Google it. I don't got no resources. Maybe in the future we'll have some resources. I'm working on the AI generated assets for the new show. Slowly. From the Daily Mail, Florida diner owner turns away Biden supporters, telling them to, quote, take your business elsewhere, end quote. Angie Ugart posted the sign in the window of the DeBerry Diner in DeBerry, Volusia County, tells customers to turn around if they back President Kamala Harris and Vice President Joe Magoo Biden, the one whose crackhead son Hunter Biden was taking millions of dollars from the Chinese government and that Ukrainian firm, the energy firm Burisma, to buy access to Joe Biden. It's like we're in another world. I don't know necessarily whether or not this is productive. I am a business owner, and I'm not going to turn away any Democrats. But chances are, if they hear any of the stuff from the show, they're going to like boycott me. And I'm well aware of that, and I actually say these things because they boycott me, because they do all these things that they do, because they're intolerant bigots. They think that it's okay for them to hate because the other people hate, but it's like the dude who like gets all upset because they think you're talking schmack about them, and really you like just said some constructive criticism, and then this person gets all up in your face and then starts a fight with you. That's what's going on, because they're angry city people. Most Democrats live in big cities. These people are angry city people. They got really low birth rate. Like their birth rate's like only child, bro. They're like they just never had a brother or a sister beat them up for the stuff that they do. So you got to give them a little bit of slack, give them some love and compassion, because their people are dying out. So they're not going to be around for very long. We're not going to have access to this many jokes and memes and hilarious videos insulting them. So just grab some popcorn and oops, wrong slide. Don't forget to smash that like button. If you like this video, consider the up button. If you thought it sucked, there's a down button next to it. Best way that you can help this channel grow and spread this message so that we can smack the ivory tower in by the top. Then hit the share button and drop a comment down below. Tell me what you thought about it. Any of the articles that triggered something? Did they turn you into a snowflake? Did they melt your snowflake and turn you into a clown? Let's drop that in the comment section down below, please. From the Daily Mail, China's war on celebrities, scandal hit stars are deemed social tumors who must be removed. Actress Zhao Wei, pictured, was wiped from the internet last week with films and TV shows that she starred in being removed from streaming services without the government providing ... Anybody who's doing business in China, I mean, this you should understand that the time of free markets in China is over, and this is going to happen to you. Anybody who opposes the Chinese hegemony over there, which means that they have like one country controls everything, you're going to get canceled. And it's going to be very swift. They have a AI-powered Nazi system over there. So it's going to be very swift with a very hard boot, and they're going to take all your money. You're going to be a penniless pauper, and they're going to make your family also too poor, because that's the way they work. They don't just target you, they target everyone in your family for some number of generations. So that's what you get if you vote for the Democrats, because they run they're bankrolled by corporations who are funded by China. And they're globalist, multinationalist corporations that hold no allegiance to the United States. They just want to take all our resources, get our money, and control us. They want to be able to stay in the shadows and control what we do through controlling Ascension up the ivory tower and the censorship engine programmed by the computer programmers in Silicon Valley. This next article from Newsweek, Afghan Live Update, Joe Magoo Biden defends withdrawal from, quote, forever war, and, quote, Taliban attempts to form new government, but they're too high on heroin, so they tripped and fell. President Kamala Harris and Vice President China Joe Biden has defended the way U.S. troops withdraw from Afghanistan despite the Taliban takeover of the country and an ISIS-K attack on Kabul airport following Newsweek's ... It would help maybe if Joe Biden would wear the pants in the White House. I know he likes to streak around the White House and grope women, but that is just an inappropriate place for that to occur. Maybe if he could put his pants up, stop creeping on the ladies so much, stop worrying so much about the gender pronouns and about the open borders and about the ballot harvesting. And if he could please just focus on running the country, because Biden is in the basement and he is losing his faculties and he has limited attention to focus. So if he's more concerned with gender studies in Afghanistan and correct use of gender pronouns and chopping off soldiers' penises in the military, then we're probably going to be embarrassed like what happened in Afghanistan. This is real life, where other people are not nice. They want to take our stuff. They're smart. They're smarter than us. They're faster than us. And they are less moral than us. And they're going to bamboozle us. So we have to compete. We have to be competitive. And right now, it's more like we're flopping over like a beluga whale saying, racism! Racism! From the Daily Mail, British father is shot and killed by armed robbers who opened fire on his vehicle in Ghana. The British journalist Saeed Taleh Ahmad, 31, was shot and killed by a group of armed robbers while on deployment in Ghana on August 23rd. He had been on deployment for Muslim ... From Newsweek, Texas abortion ban allowed by Supreme Court in huge blow to Roe v. Wade. Democrats can no longer mass murder babies in the state of Texas. Critics of the new law said that took effect midnight, says it effectively bans abortion in the state of Texas. I don't care. Our birth rate's so low that it's really selfish for you to kill off your family line so that you can go have sex with a bunch of dudes on Tinder and Instagram and be an OnlyFans model and then take the dude's jobs at the workplace with a diversity ticket. Really, women need to stop being bullshit moms and shitty girlfriends and absolute horrible wives. They need to start focusing on their family. It needs to be till death do us apart. And you need to stop murdering your kids. I didn't murder my kid. I had a baby with a woman I barely knew. I didn't kill my kid because I knew it was wrong. From Fox News, U.S. troops who fought in Afghanistan can hold head up high. Letter from top military official says. Service members who fought in Afghanistan for over past 20 years can hold their head up high for preventing an attack in the U.S. homeland, according to the letter posted. What the hell? Where does this come from? They absolutely did not prevent an attack on the homeland. They just left the Taliban with as one of the most well-funded militaries in the world. They have very deadly equipment now. They have ISIS is all over the place. It's like the heroin dealers were working with the cartels that Biden was using to human smuggle the millions of people in with the enough fentanyl to kill everyone in the country, to get all your friends and family twacked out on meth. They also put the fentanyl in the cocaine. They got to ruin everything, don't they? And so it's kind of like these people got together. It's like the Taliban took all the money that they made off of Joe Biden's open borders, and then they used it to totally pawn Joe Biden. And then whenever the Americans left, you got all these crazy rich terrorist heroin dealers just start popping out of these Mercedes as if they had been doing backroom deals. You got to start questioning that stuff, dude. I think Biden works for China. I really do. I think this guy's under the control of terrorists, cartels. From Newsweek, white supremacist ordered to read Dickens and Shakespeare to avoid jail. Ben John, 21, of Lincoln, England, has been convicted of downloading right-wing documents, but was given a suspended sentence. Boy, woo! Better not be watching RSS commentary in Europe then, I guess. If you read right-wing documents in Europe, you will have to go to jail or read Dickens and Shakespeare. Don't take the black pill, take the clown pill. From Fox News, USA Gymnastics eyes $425 million settlement with survivors. This could be near the final stages of the legal fallout of the Larry Nassar sexual abuse scandal. Kind of strange this guy was able to sexually assault that many gymnastics students. I mean, that was just insane. From the BBC, air pollution may reduce life expectancy of Indians by 9 years, says study. Millions in North India face the most extreme levels of air pollution in the world, the report says. From The Hill, Biden to talk Russia anti-corruption with Ukraine's president. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky is finally getting his meeting at the White House on Wednesday as President Kamala Harris and Vice President China Joe Biden host him for a visit that is expected to focus primarily on ... From Newsweek, since 9/11, Muslims have gained unprecedented political and cultural influence. Despite ongoing quote-unquote Islamophobia, American Muslims are having a moment. As one Muslim sportscaster put it, quote, "Everywhere I look, I see first happenings," end quote. And next to that, he would probably say, "Everywhere I look, I see racism and misogyny," end quote. From Fox News, judge recuses after reversing order on barring unvaccinated mother from seeing son. X files emergency motion. An Illinois judge recused himself Tuesday from a child support case in which he initially barred an unvaccinated woman from seeing her son, then reversed the order Monday after ... This one was insane. So, like, the father had never even brought up anything about the COVID vaccine. The judge took it upon himself to bring up this vaccine. It was pretty whack. This guy obviously is a Democrat because Democrats do this all the time. This is why conservative judges are better, because liberal judges go off trying to help people. They want everything to be fair, and they don't care about the Constitution. and that's why they do stuff like this, is because they enjoy their power over you. They're petty tyrants. If you mouth off to them, they'll put the schmack down on you, and you don't know what's going to piss them off. If their favorite sports team lost that day, then you're probably going to be serving double the time. And we allow these people to get away with it because if you replace this petty tyrant with another petty tyrant, you're going to have an even more petty tyrant. That's just the way it is. It's like deposing third world dictators. You're just going to get a worse one in their place. The power structure that evolved to control is going to be more benevolent than the other psychotic people who want to kill those people to take control over everything. It's kind of the way the world is. It's like the animal kingdom. You know that stuff, and you're able to work. This is why most liberals have no idea why Republicans think the way they do. If you want to hit like and subscribe, you'll get lots of intellectual dark web content like this that has been pushed off of the clear web by insane radical feminists. That's the like button with it. If you didn't like it, you can flip it upside down and turn it into a dislike button. But when you share this video, you will help broadcast this message out to potentially thousands more people. As well as, don't forget the like button. And commenting below, too. That is also why we're here, is to make comments. Hopefully, if you're not triggered, you're laughing. And if you're not laughing, you're fascinated. If you're not fascinated, you're hopping mad. If you don't feel anything, well, I'm not doing my job. So let's get back to triggering snowflakes. So one of these days, I'll bust out my blowtorch. From Hacker News Best, Rugby : Head Impact Study shows cognitive decline after just one season. From Newsweek, Taiwan, Japan urged to, quote, stand together, unquote, as China threat prompts security talks. Taiwanese officials said the ruling party did not hesitate when invited to hold unprecedented security talks with Japan to discuss mutual concerns about China. I'm not sure, but I think Japan is still like banned from having a military. Obviously, Japan needs military as soon as possible. And China needs to get stood up to. Unfortunately, Joe Magoo Biden has proven he cares more about photo ops than standing up for what is right and fighting for American values, as is the case in his pathetic, bungled up Afghanistan exit that left hundreds dead and tarnished the reputation of America worldwide, made us lose credibility. We lost faith. We gave up on our allies, and we told everyone, you can't trust us anymore. We don't abide by our values. We're just here to push woke identity politics on you so that some defense contractor can make out with billions of dollars of American tax money. We're corrupt. We're I don't think we're fascist. No, Republicans are the opposite of fascist. Democrats highly resemble fascists. They do. Everything about them resembles fascists. From the Daily Mail, moment gas station attendee smashes entire bottle of red wine over a customer's head. Cashier Salah A. Ahmed, 45, of Iberia, faces charges of aggravated second-degree battery for the May incident, which saw him allegedly strike the customer's face twice with the ... From the Daily Mail, Taliban Air Force, jihadists seize up to 48 aircraft with more aerial firepower than NATO members. Over the last few months, the jihadists have seized 10 major air bases from Bagram to Mazar-e Sharif, posted for posed for pictures with $6 million Blackhawks, even taking their Air Force in a ... I personally think the heroin-dealing Taliban terrorists that supply 80% of the world's heroin, I think that those people funded money to do this operation with the money that they made from smuggling heroin through the cartels, through the open border that President Kamala Harris has opened so that they can flood the country with Latino immigrants so that they can maintain Democrats' control over the Congress that they've had for hundreds of years. They know all the levers of power, and they are as corrupt as it gets. So they don't care whether or not this harms your family, causes you to lose your right to self-governance. All they care about is power. They don't care about your family. From Newsweek, Ron DeSantis faces lawsuit to make Florida COVID data public amid Delta surge. The lawsuit claims that Florida Department of Health has violated public record laws at a time of rising COVID cases in the United States. From the Daily Mail, 1/3 of councils in England offer to house Afghan refugees needing homes after fleeing the Taliban. Ministers today admitted that only around 100 councils, around 1/3 of the 333 local authorities in England, have so far come forward to help families and find homes under the ... Probably not too stoked about having more of these Afghan refugees flood in. They feel like they're losing their culture over there because everybody wants to move to the West, and like, we can't fit everybody. Like, our people will get thrown under the bus. Our people won't be here. But they did fight for us, so those are the kinds of Americans we're looking for. I think we got to close up the southern border, but maybe these people are okay. I don't know. From Newsweek, Biden called press leaks by General McChrystal in Afghanistan, quote, effing outrageous, end quote, says new book. China Joe Biden, aka Mr. Magoo, has supported reducing troops on the ground for years, advising President Barack Hussein Obama to limit involvement there back in 2009, back when the Defense Department contractors were looting the American, or Uncle Sam, with these lucrative no-bid defense contracts in Afghanistan, where they profited billions. Again from Newsweek, quote, constant desire for an exit strategy paradoxically prolonged the intervention, end quote, in Afghanistan, says author. Award-winning foreign correspondent David Loin, as in, is that loin, like a loincloth? He describes what early decisions set the course for Americans' longest war in Afghanistan, which administrators handled it best ... From Newsweek, Piers Morgan cleared by TV regulators over Meghan Markle's suicide comment. Piers Morgan did not breach UK media rules by saying he did not believe Meghan Markle's account of feeling suicidal. A UK regulator ruled because they're a nanny state over there run by insane liberals. I don't know what happened to the British people and the European or the Eastern European people. No, not Eastern Europe. The Western European people, all the like the wingnuts. They like went off the deep end. Like whenever they banned hate speech, now they live in a nanny state where they have to use these codes, and then if you use the code in the wrong context, then they'll hit you with these hate speech laws. But typically only if you piss off one of the MPs, they'll come after you. They're pretty corrupt over there. The MPs are petty tyrants. You don't want to mess with the MPs because they'll get you boot. They'll lock all your money down. They're very, very corrupt over there. I like America better, even though the wingnuts over here are crazy. They got low birth rates, so we're just gonna like breed them out. They're just gonna disappear, and the Republicans are gonna take over because their birth rate's way higher. From the Hill, progressives breathe sigh of relief after Afghan withdrawal. Progressives are breathing the sigh of relief at the end of the U.S. military involvement in Afghanistan after President Kamala Harris and Vice President China Joe Biden, a.k.a. Mr. Magoo, belly flopped, embarrassed America, made us lose faith, made our enemy or our allies think that we will abandon them in the future. They said the commitment to halting the forever war, even as the ... meaning he wants the photo op and he doesn't care about what it was. He didn't really look into it. He was more concerned about chopping U.S. soldiers' penises off and using the correct gender pronoun. They were too focused on attacking the white males for critical race theory and their false version of history. See, this is why you shouldn't vote for these people, because their priorities are whack and they're brainwashed and they're stupid and they make stuff up. From the Daily Mail, Pfizer and Moderna vaccine efforts on hospital admissions drop over time. Research by the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention said the lower threshold may apply to people aged 75 and over. From Fox News, 3 Florida cold case murders linked to Brazil man killed in 2005 plane crash. The plane crash was identified Tuesday as a serial killer who murdered 3 women in South Florida in the early 2000s, according to reports. From the Daily Mail, child killer Colin Pitchfork is freed from jail after parole board rejected appeal. He raped 2 schoolgirls in the 1980s. He has been released from prison. Here from the Daily Mail, how Hitler's attack on the German Gleiwitz radio station led to World War II. We like to cover this on this show a lot because it's crazy what they did. They staged a false flag invasion of Poland. They took over this radio station on the border. They killed some farmers. They killed some prisoners. They dressed up to look like Nazi soldiers. And they got on the radio station and they broadcasted that there was a communist invasion. And then Stalin showed up 2 weeks later with a army, and Stalin and Hitler had this plan to control Europe together. They didn't find out about it until 2001. You should definitely check this out. Google it. Gleiwitz, Eiwitz. Again, that was Gleiwitz. Very fascinating. Most people think that the Nazis and the communists were like on different sides, but like that was at different times of the war. They started out the war on the same side, working together to overthrow the government together. It was the communists who started mass murdering people, like millions of people in the Holodomor, famine, genocide, and they built the concentration camps like the Auschwitz. They built these for the political distance for the communists. They didn't build them for the Jews. Most people have no idea what happened. From the Daily Mail, girl 12 who took her own life after being groomed, raped, and bullied, quote, will never be forgotten, end quote. Samina Hollowell, 12, died on June 12th after months of torment following her rape in Southport, Merseyside. Her mother, Rachel, shared videos of her daughter being punched, ... It's sad. My heart goes out to her. There's too many people who are betraying their family, betraying the children. I think that that's sinful. God created man in its image, and all around the universe, that image is of a family. So when you harm the family and the children, then that is sin. From Newsweek, Donald Trump wanted to fund Arizona audit. Text message suggests, if I had money, I would also too fund the audit. Former Trump's campaign official Jeff DeWitt said he was not referring to the former president specifically. Well, whenever a political candidate loses and they want to do a recount, they pay for that. So I'm not sure exactly whether or not they're trying to make President Trump sound bad here, but that wouldn't really actually make sense because he would actually be the person that would pay for a recount, right? I mean, that's kind of the way it works. Apologies. From the Daily Mail, 40 cops disciplined for getting paralytic at the Paralympics. The officers were members of a special security unit from Yamanashi Prefecture sent to Tokyo to provide backup to local police officers at venues and control traffic during the games. From Fox News, over 100 men are stranded on a drill ship in the Gulf during Ida. No rescue in sight. Quote, crying in the hallway, end quote. Ida swept through the area and they did not know when they'll be rescued. From Newsweek, Texas website urges people to report anyone having an abortion after 6 weeks. The new law that prohibits abortions once a fetal heartbeat can be detected took effect in Texas on September 1st. And also, too, if you know anyone who murders anyone in Texas, you should probably report them, too. Just because it's a unborn fetus does not mean that you did not murder that person. I know that the Democrats like to stomp on babies because they'd rather put off having kids until their 30s so they could get more money and have sex with a bunch of sleazy dudes from Tinder and Instagram. But you know, we got below birth rate. Maybe you should think about what's in your family's best interest and killing off your family line so that you can get a raise at work, and then working full time, and then barely making ends meet in some big city because all your money goes to the landlord. It's just it's just a booty life. You should probably just be a mom. Stop being a bullshit mom. Stop killing your kids. Stop neglecting your kids. Why don't you do what's best for your family? Stop killing off our people so that you can be selfish. Be some Tinder slut. From Newsweek, woman forced to wait more than 2 days at hospital ER amid COVID surge. The COVID hospitalizations have been rising across the U.S. for over the past 2 months due to spread of the Delta variant. Yeah, they need to have a better way to get those. There's some sort of thing that you need to take if you're sick with COVID. Like if you got some low level of something and then they need to test it. And if you got some low level of thing, then they need to hospitalize you so that you could get these things. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, the people aren't dying from it. I'm not sure exactly what percentage of people they save when they hospitalize them. All I know is that there's some sort of method for early treatment that works really good. So you should get early treatment instead of putting it off. Get professional advice. I'm not giving you any professional advice. I'm just trying to tell you whatever I know. From The Hill, Navy helicopter crashes near San Diego. One crew member from U.S. Navy helicopter that crashed into the ocean near San Diego has been rescued, and a search is underway for other crew members. Military officials told Fox, ... We just got to get up through 6 o'clock. We're almost to the end. From the Daily Mail, Royal Navy chief groped female sailor's bottom while on HMS Albion. Court martial hears able seaman Omar Cummings, who has one sexual name, allegedly grabbed the woman from behind while a group of sailors drank on the HMS Albion, a court-martial on Bulford Military Court at Wiltshire hurt. I'm not sure exactly why this is making the news, but it was something about a sailor's butt and groping, and it was not grabbing her by the pussy, so I thought I'd grab it. I thought I'd throw it in here. From the Hill, majority favors U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, according to a poll. A majority of Americans support pulling troops out of Afghanistan and ending America's longest war. According to a new poll released this week, a study from Pew Research Center, From the Daily Mail, Lyft prices surge to $1,500 out of South Lake Tahoe as Candor Fire closes in. If you want to make some money, you can go over there to Lake Tahoe and work as a Lyft driver. You'll get $1,500 per ride. You might die in the fire, so I'm advising maybe that you stay away from the fire area, but you could if you wanted to do that. From the Hill, another Florida county approves mask mandate in defiance of DeSantis. The Florida School District on Tuesday made the decision to punch back against Ron DeSantis' perfectly legal ban on mask mandates for its students. DeSantis issued a ... and we're thanking him for being a bastion of sanity over there. We need more sane people who don't do stupid things. But you're always going to end up with some stupid Democrat who doesn't care whether or not it was legal or not. They're just going to do it anyway because they're a liberal, and liberals do that. This is why you should not vote for Democrats and always elect conservative judges, because conservative judges are the best judges. And for our final story of today, from the Daily Mail, Jen Psaki insists U.S. will evacuate abandoned Afghan interpreter who rescued Biden in 2008. The White House press nut secretary, Jen Psaki, asked on Tuesday about Mohammed, an Afghan interpreter who saved President Joe Magoo Biden, saved Vice President Joe Magoo Biden because he does not wear the pants in the White House. In 2008, he was since left behind by the U.S. in China Joe Biden's botched withdrawal that left hundreds dead, tarnished America's reputation around the world, made our allies no longer trust if we will be there for them. And that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning into the RSS commentary on Wednesday, September 1st. Again, my name is the Captain, Cale McCollough. The girls like to call me Daddy, and the guys like to call me Sir. But you can call me the subscribe button and just punch me in the face here so that you can troll my channel later. You could also smack the like or dislike button down there. And if you want to help this channel grow, the best way that you can do that is by clicking the share button and dropping a comment down below so you can feed the algorithm, potentially pushing this video out to thousands more people so we can show them the truth and bring this information back to the clear web and shut down these insanely corrupt Democrats in the swamp. And until next time, as I say every time, farewell, sayonara, aloha, peace be with you, and Godspeed in your journeys, friend.